Good evening, you wonderful people. This is GregsynthBootelegs, and welcome to the second episode of the GregsynthVlog here on the channel. Um, Thanks for the early feedback and questions and everything, and thanks for the good reviews on the first episode. So I hope to make this episode better, and I have a feeling it will be better because I have even more questions. I have exactly 2.5 pages here of questions here from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 different people. And a lot of them asked multiple questions, so expect this video to be quite long. I will say probably around an hour. If not, that's going to be crazy. All right. No need to get into any side details right now, except for the fact that, glad you're enjoying the recent uploads on the channel, like the alternative source for Leiden and the Milwaukee show. And I had a fun time uploading those and revisiting those shows, and looks like all you guys are liking it. So thank you for the early reviews that were very good on those gigs, because they are great. All right, let's get right into the questions here for the second episode. We'll start with Muser, goes by the name of Sam Kibler, I believe that's how you say it. He says, "Hi Greg, what in your opinion is the best live version of Killer Queen? To be honest, most of the live versions I've heard sound kinda crappy, as the phrasing intervals are really subtle and tough to do live," which is true. Also, are there any versions where Freddie uses his falsetto? Alright, fair question. Alright, first I will say that no, there is no version of Killer Queen on any tour where there's falsetto used at all. No, absolutely no falsetto. For the first question there about the best live versions, there's quite a bunch of candidates. If you want the early versions with only one verse and chorus, the Rainbow version's really good. Liverpool is fantastic. This is from '74, by the way, Sheer Heart Attack Tour. Those are very good. The Hague is very good too. So those three really stick out in a way, in a very good way. In terms of the versions with 2 verses and 2 choruses, later versions, there's some good ones, like Boston '76 is pretty good. There's some really good versions from '77, '78, like some of the later Day at the Races versions from Europe are very good. News of the World Tour, Stockholm is excellent. Copenhagen's very good. Very solid overall. And Crazy Tour has the first Newcastle version is one of the best of all time due to the excellent phrasing and note choices Freddie does, and the delivery is very strong. And Hammersmith is also fantastic. And Phoenix 80 is also top notch. Does the rare album phrasing on Perfume Came Naturally from Paris, which is very rare that he does that, because he usually does some alternative phrasing. And as a wild card version, stuff like London '84, September 5th, September 7th. I know Adam and Dimitri love those versions, and I know they'll nominate those. So those two can nominate those versions. But honestly, there's a handful of live versions that could probably take the spot for the best live version. I would probably go with, me personally, probably the first Newcastle from the Crazy Tour, because everything flows right, the performance is fantastic, the vocal delivery is very strong, not too all over the place and ridiculous, but fairly straightforward and powerful, and nothing really wrong with it. And I love that version. And hopefully more Crazy Tour shows pop up so we can listen and compare. Maybe there's something we don't know, but from on the available recordings, that first Newcastle version sticks out very well. Good questions. All right, we have James from Australia, who goes by Classic Rock 2012, because I think I butchered his username last time. No, I didn't write the username actually last time, so he pointed out to me, so thank you. Now I know in advance. He asks me a few questions. He says, what's my opinion on Freddie's solo album, Mr. Bad Guy? And what's my favorite song from Mr. Bad Guy? Well, Mr. Bad Guy, it's very different from the normal stuff, from all the Queen stuff up to that point, with the exception of some stuff from Hot Space. Mr. Bad Guy is basically, largely avoids rock and generally goes into either, ballads or kind of like a funky dance kind of a direction, like kind of like a dance album with some ballads on it. And to be honest, I quite like it. I think that it would have sounded better with the members of Queen on it, because it kind of sounds like, there's session musicians playing, licks that, Brian and Roger and John would play, but, but I think it would have sounded better with the members of Queen playing it, because it kind of sounds like people are trying to emulate Queen on that album. But, it's not bad for what it is. I mean, I like that dance style, especially, Let's Turn It On, it's got a cool vocal. About the album, even if the music isn't to your taste, the vocal performances are absolutely top-notch on that album. Freddie really went all out on that album. Let's Turn It On being a fantastic vocal performance. Love Me Like There's No Tomorrow is fantastic. Living on My Own is great. Made in Heaven has that chesty, distorted kind of vocal on it. It's very powerful singing on the album. I generally like it, although, I think it's pretty good, but for some reason there's like something missing on it. I don't know what it was, but there's like, think of it as a car, like a 6-cylinder engine, but only running on 4 or 5 of the cylinders. It doesn't feel complete for some reason. It's like it's missing some elements, whether it be, the other members of Queen on it, I don't know, but something about it just sounds empty in a way. But it's okay overall. I don't dislike it at all. I actually, like it a fair amount. My favorite song, tough one. My favorite ballad is Love Me Like There's No Tomorrow, and my favorite up-tempo number is I Was Born to Love You, and that's one of my favorite Freddie Mercury tracks. Both of them are, and it's cool that Queen, redid it for the Made in Heaven album and gave it kind of like the rock version as opposed to the poppy dance version. So those two kind of tie for me as the best song on the album. And then he asks me, what Queen song has your favorite guitar solo? Oh, great. Guitars again. Let's see. Oh, there's so many songs with a guitar solo I dig. I love the Bo Rap solo, even though that's, very common song. But the Save Me solo is very melodic. I love that one. Let's see. I Want It All has a really cool guitar solo in it. I love that. And it's cool hearing that live, in all the different, incarnations of Queen, Queen Plus or at the tribute show. I think it's cool to hear that song live, and the solo rocks. And another song that I think has a really cool solo is The Show Must Go On. Brian May is a master of melody and harmony with that Red Special, and you can never accuse him of being tasteless or overplaying on the guitar. He's phenomenal. He ranks very high in my book in terms of melody and stuff like that, because he's just all around fantastic. Love that man. So those are some of the songs that have some of my favorite solos on them. All right. Next user is Matt's Comics, who asked a number of questions last time, and he asks a number of them here. So we'll start with question 1. He said, if they actually release the live Killers film I mentioned the last time, the last episode, in theaters, would you see it in theaters or wait for the DVD Blu-ray release? Well, hell yeah, I'd see it in the theater. I mean, I'd be stupid not to see something Queen-related pop up in the theater. Queen's my favorite band. Why would I not see it? But, indeed, I will see it multiple times in the theater, and I would buy the DVD, Blu-ray, well, in my case, DVD, because I don't have a Blu-ray player. But I'll do both. I will see it in theaters multiple times, and I will buy the DVD and watch it again and again and again and again and again. So, there you go. And then second question. Do you think Queen performed Spread Your Wings and It's Late in Houston 77? I don't believe so. I think it's strange that they dropped those songs because they were promoting News of the World, but I don't believe they played them because there's no like audible cut or any awkward transition in between songs. I think they, for some reason, I don't know if they were on a time constraint because of the film. I don't know, but I don't believe they played those. Now, if it turns out that they did, that would be a big shock. But I don't think they did play them, to be honest. And question 3. If Queen did a medley of their old songs during the Magic Tour, what songs would you pick from the first 3 albums? Oh, build a medley. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, Magic Tour. Okay, grand stadium stage. Freddie with that amazing mustache, belting out those songs with those awesome stage attire he had. Sorry. Okay. Forget it. What I would pick is, knowing Freddie's voice on that Magic Tour, I would love to hear Great King Rat. If it was similar to the Works Tour, like that, in terms of like the style, that'd be cool. I think Great King Rat would have been fantastic. Another one, the Legit Liar would be cool too. I know they did kind of the little intro before Tear It Up, but I think it'd be cool to have at least more of the song on the Magic Tour. That would sound awesome in the stadiums. And the hell of it. We'll pick something from Queen 2, March of the Black Queen, revive that. That'd be cool. And then for Sheer Heart Attack, what the hell? Throw Stone Cold Crazy in there. So, you got 4 songs there. 2 from the first album and 1 from Queen 2, and then 1 from Sheer Heart Attack. And a good order for that would be, say, I don't know, Great King Rat could start it off. No, screw that. Stone Cold Crazy starts it off. Then Great King Rat, so it'll be like the Works Tour. Then I see it slowing down, fades out, and then bam, the Red Special kicks in with the Liar guitar intro, and they play the intro and then the first verse. I totally see it playing out in my head right now. And play the first few minutes of the song, have it go up to about 3-minute mark, and Freddie hits the high note, B4, probably on the Lion Show, but B3 on Zurich, up to that part, and then right after the Father Please Forgive Me part, Freddie does the liar, liar, liar part, and then have it fade out, and then Freddie goes over to the piano, sits down and starts banging out March of the Black Queen. Total surprise there. And that'll be a nostalgic trip right there. So I see it like that. Stone Cold Crazy, Great King Rat, then Liar, March of the Black Queen. I see those 4 in that order. That'd be my medley pick for Magic Tour. And I'll staple that. And then the 4th question. What's the one song you wish Queen performed live? Well, there's a lot of songs I wanted them to perform live. And if I have questions like that, my head hurts a lot. But off of a 70s album, I would love to hear Dead on Time alive. I mean, that song, when you hear it on the record, it sounds like it could have been an excellent live number. It showcased Brian May's awesome guitar chops, maybe a little solo section there, a little improv section. Freddie goes out there. I don't care about, if the vocal ain't like the record, because it's a fucking demanding song. Fred's a master at phrasing and figuring out alternative melodies, so I'm sure he could figure out something. But you know, I totally can see that song being played live, you know, sped up a little bit, turn it into like this rock and speed metal hit, you know. I think Dead on Time would be a great 70s song to add to the live shows. For 80s, I'll separate it, yeah, because I like to do that. If I wanted an 80s song to be played live, for some reason this song keeps just appearing in my head, and it's off of the controversial Hot Space album, and it is Dancer. I just think that that song is good in the studio, but it would have rocked hard live in that live setting. You know, less the electronics, more the rock. You know, I think that would have been an awesome live hit, and have Roger and Freddie trade leads on the vocals and have great harmonies, and Morgan or Fred Mandel, depending on who you are on the Hot Space tour. You know, doing the bass riff on the keyboard, and have John get in there and either add the bass on top of it or play guitar like he did on Staying Power. I think Dancer would have been a fantastic live number. You know, those two are my picks. Great questions. All right. Lawrence Santos asks a few questions here. And question 1 is, what is the best version and the worst version of Under Pressure? Well, the first part of that's easy. The best version is the Montreal 81 version, at least on a vocal standpoint. The first night. Not the night that's on the official release, even though that version's very good and is definitely at least top 3, maybe the second best. But the first live version of the song from November 24th is probably the best vocal version, because Fred nails the falsetto the whole way through it. That only time ever that we have on record that he does that, which is phenomenal. Vocal is clean, gets a good chunk of the studio phrasing, and for a first time performs that song, it sounds pretty tight. It doesn't sound screwy-looey, or no one's rushing around to figure out who's playing what, or no one's shouting, "Hey, where's David Bowie?" or something. That first performance, it sounded pretty tight, and vocally was first class. So that's probably the best version, at least coming from this fedora-hatted goofball right here. Worst version, oh man. And there's a couple that stick out like a sore thumb. The second Zurich show from '82 is not exactly my favorite to listen to due to the squealing and out-of-control phrasing. The Saturday Night Live version is also not exactly the best. That's not too cool to hear. Some Works Tour versions like Vienna and like 9/7 and stuff aren't exactly my favorite either. The tone is just shot and the voice ain't there. But overall, I would probably give the nominee to Saturday Night Live's version, because it's like he just sounds so hoarse and shot, and I mean, give him credit, he tried, and he literally had no voice during the rehearsals. He just spoke the song and went to the studio bathroom and did had steam going up his nose and mouth to try to get his voice back. He had that some oil, I think it's like Albus oil or something, and try to get his voice cleaned out. And if he literally had no voice, he bravely tried, but voice wasn't there. But I give him credit for trying. He could have canceled it or lip synced, but no. Queen were so anti-lip syncing that they didn't do it. So there we go. Or I should say miming in this case. Miming, lip syncing, whatever. But I'd rather hear a live version with the bad voice than a fake live version any day. So best, first Montreal 81, worst Saturday Night Live. Lawrence, the second question. Which one can be considered the weakest News of the World tour gig? Okay, weakest News of the World gig. Man, those words shouldn't even be put in the same sentence. There's no bad gig on that tour. Not even a weak gig, actually. They're all strong. Are there some better than others? Yes. But there's no bad or weak ones. 77 is very consistent. Everything is superb, awesome. Nothing bad, no weakness. 78, also fantastic. Copenhagen, Stockholm are highlights. Amazing stuff. In terms of musical performances, no weakness. But if I had to pick something, and this is just being picky, Probably overall, in terms of full or near full gigs, probably Zurich, because Fred sounds more tired there than other shows of the tour, and that's literally the only thing that really brings it down is that. Everything else is just is as good as the other gigs. So that's being extremely picky, but that's the only thing I can think of. But there's no weak gig from that tour. I guarantee you. You'll never be disappointed with a News of the World tour gig. And then 3, best and worst versions of Flash. Okay. The best versions. The Montreal version that was officially released is very good. That's excellent. Some excellent ones. Some 81 versions, like from. Oh, there was one. One of those Buenos Aires gigs. I think it might have been the first night is really good. And let's see. I haven't heard it in a while, to be honest, but I'm going off memory. But there's some rough ones in 1980 for sure. Like there's like that Brussels. There's a Brussels one from the second night that like everyone gets screwed up and they change the key randomly, and Freddie goes for. I don't know what happened on that gig. It's from the second Brussels show. It's like the key randomly changes, and I don't know. Freddie wanted to show off. I don't know, but the worst ones are probably from the last couple Japan 81 shows where the voice is not working and squealing and modified phrasing and just awkwardness. Birmingham 80 and then like the first Wembley 80 are also on the lower list. Not so much the vocal performance, but it's just, first performance, it's not tight. It's just like hitting random things on the random measures, and it's not, the timing ain't exactly right on some stuff, and it's kind of a little bit rougher on the edges, they would say, but thankfully they tighten up as the tour goes on with that song. So weakest ones, probably the, like 217, 218 Japan, Birmingham and Wembley 80 the first night for tightness. Best would probably be Montreal 81 because that is a really good version overall. That's my go-to version for the song. And good questions. And then let's see. Next user is Hugo Martinez. Has so many questions that I lost count, but he wrote the number 6, so maybe that helps. Okay, first one, he says, what is the worst version of Liar? The worst overall. I'm not going to be counting Works Tour ones because it's medley versions. But in terms of full performance, probably some stuff like Himeji and Fukuoka 76, because I remember on Himeji some of the guitar stuff didn't sound right. It sounded really goofy, and it was just weird sounding, and the vocals were just shot to pieces. Same thing for Fukuoka, even though it was a little bit better. But those two are probably the weakest versions of the song. Although, there's still some good stuff on it, but it's not a total disaster. But it's just they're the weaker versions compared to all the other great versions that are out there. What gig is better, Leeds or the first Edinburgh from the Hot Space Tour, and why? I love the first Edinburgh. That's probably my favorite Hot Space Tour show overall. But if I were to go in terms of the better gig overall, in terms of, say, atmosphere and playing, I would probably give the edge to Leeds. Not by much, though, by about this much, because both gigs are first class and are highly recommended for any Hot Space Tour enthusiast. I'd give the edge to Leeds because there, it's like the atmosphere is absolutely amazing. The crowd is getting into all the songs. Freddie is just on fire at that show, exclaiming to the crowd, the whole band loved that show. And I believe one of the members, I believe it was Brian, said that was his favorite gig or one of his favorites or the top gig or something. So, for him to say that, it had to be excellent. But I would probably overall give the edge to Leeds, although Edinburgh is still extremely good. 3. What is my favorite tribute band? Um, let's see. Favorite tribute band for Queen. I would say, let's see. This is going off what I've seen. I love the Queen Extravaganza. If that's, you know, I love the Queen Extravaganza. If I were to include them in that, I would say it's them because of the whole production and stuff. But if I were to go by tribute band in terms of, members on stage, in the costumes and everything, and to limit that, I have seen Gary Mullen in the works once back in 2012, and that was an excellent show. I loved it. And I've seen a lot of his videos on YouTube, and he does great. Let's see, another one. There's an Ontario-based tribute band by the name of Simply Queen, who, has this brilliant guitar player, who is, it's like Brian May's clone. It's like if there's a guy that can emulate Brian down to the phrasing and the tone and then pretty much everything else, that'd be the guy. Because it's like you could put Brian and this guy in the same room, close the door, go outside, and then, have them play back and forth randomly, and you probably couldn't tell them apart because it's like the guy absolutely nails Brian down to everything. I enjoy Simply Queen. I've seen them a handful of times over the last couple of years, and they're very tight players live, and it's very good. They're very good overall. And if you ever do check them out, I recommend listening to the guitarist's guitar solos, because we're talking about someone that absolutely knows how to play Brian May. I mean, there's a lot of great guitarists out there that play Queen music, whether it be in a tribute band or they like to play for fun or show how to play the songs, like at a how-to video or some. There's a lot of great players that can nail the playing, but it's more than just, say, hitting the right notes and bending to the right notes. It's all about the sound and the phrasing and getting that sound. And it's like Brian May is extremely hard to emulate, and I think this guy from Simply Queen is probably the absolute closest you're gonna get to a Brian May clone. So hope you're watching this. You know who you are. Let's see here. 4th question. Look what he asks me. Hopefully this shows up. Do you like Fukuoka 5-1? You just had to ask me that, didn't you? You just had to just write this question down, knowing that I cannot handle any of this Japan stuff anymore. I have gotten requests for 414, 430, 5-1, 423, you name it. People love when I go crazy over this Japan stuff because they know I can't take the abuse, okay? It's like, I love the playing on these shows. I love the playing, and I love the quality for the most part, especially on the Mr. Peach stuff. But what I don't love is when I put my headphones on and I'm listening to the gig and I'm taking notes on the songs for the description. What I don't want to hear is my favorite singer, sound like he's getting his vocal cords twisted and ripped out of his throat and, hitting all these whistle overtone notes and squealing and squawking, and it's not my favorite thing to listen to. No, I don't like Fukuoka 5-1 on that level. However, on one hand, I do like Fukuoka, because when I listen to this, it reminds me that there's people out there that love watching me suffer, listening to this. It's like everyone has this sick sadomasochism 50 Shades of Grey thing going on nowadays, where it's like, let's just give Greg the worst vocal gigs of Freddie of all time and just have him put him on the channel again, have him listen to it in better quality. Let's see how he reacts. Well, this is my reaction. I go crazy. Dang, you people are nuts asking me if I like Fukuoka and everything. And as much as you probably do like this more than me. I can't take this anymore. I'm getting old. I turned 25 at the end of the month. Look at this. I'm losing my hair. You know, there's wrinkles forming under my eyes from all this abuse, you know. I start to feel old. I can't move as fast as I used to. I'm going crazy and senile. Oh. Sorry about that. Okay. Excuse me. Question 5. This is much better. This was much better. Thank you for this one. Leiden, 6'11 or 6'12. Okay, first or second Leiden. And the winner is Y. Let's see. Freddie, okay, 6'11 has Freddie loses high range and no count. Well, okay, if that's like what I prefer. I love both shows. Overall, I prefer the second night. As you said, you know, Freddie's voice lasts till the end of the show. He doesn't blow himself out. Performances are mostly par, sometimes a little better. Shame the quality isn't quite as good as the first night's, but I would give the edge to the second night. I think that's one of the best shows on the entire Magic Tour, and definitely ranks in my top 20 of all time. Love that show. Second Leiden for me, although I love the first night. Then question 6. Tear It Up from Dublin 84 or Tear It Up from Stockholm 86? Which version do you choose? Well, I'll give you credit. Both these versions are good. So thank you for not giving me some bullshit like Tear It Up from Second Brussels or London or Vienna. But if I were to choose between those two, the Stockholm version is very clean and great sounding. But so is Dublin. And this is probably the only time that I would rank a Works Tour performance over a Magic Tour performance. I know, shoot me. But I would go with Dublin overall by a little bit because, you know, a little bit more gutsy. No drop phrasing. It's one of the best vocal versions of the song, hands down. It's fantastic. I love it. I prefer that one. I think that is the better of the two, although they're both good. Then he ends with, thanks for your time for reading this. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. I love this. Okay. Second page. And it's by Mr. Sam, a.k.a. Queenaholic 1994. Man, we have so many questions on this one, too. I love this. First question. What is the best version of Hammer to Fall from the Magic Tour? The answer to that is the first Vienna show, because that is fantastic. The vocal delivery is very good. It's strong and powerful. I love the solo on there. Quality is great, too, which amplifies how good the harmonies are. I'd give First Vienna the vote. Second question. What is the worst version of Hammer to Fall from the Magic Tour? The answer is Zurich 1986, the second night, because we don't have the first night. I don't know how that would sound, but the second night has some weird moments like squawking and cracking and weird phrasing. That is probably the worst version of the song on the Magic Tour, although it's not a bad performance per se, but it's the weakest version on the tour. Question 3. Now we're getting into a little bit of different territory. Would you like to see Queen plus Adam Lambert record a studio album? I would say yes to that, because everyone has their own take on the Queen plus Adam Lambert thing for the live shows. I started off not so favorable, skeptic. Now I enjoy him and I like Lambert generally. But I think the studio album would be a great idea because it could prove that that Adam can completely work with Brian and Roger with material instead of singing the older stuff. We can really see the chemistry here. See if Adam can truly mix well with Queen in the studio. And I would love to see a record with them. And I don't know if it'll be more Queen-like or more Adam-like. I don't know, but I'll give it a shot. But yes, I would like to see them release something. And then question 4 is, would you like to see a Queen plus Adam Lambert concert from their recent tour to be released on CD, DVD, Blu-ray? The answer to that, yes. They did for the original Queen. They did it for Queen plus Paul Rogers, so why not for this era? As I said before, some people like Lambert, some don't, but I think overall this would be a good thing because, it can, it can bring together the two fan bases, Lamberts and Queenies, and I think it'd be cool. I think, it'll help. It'll keep Queen, in the public eye, and it'll help Adam out. So it'll be a win-win in that case. And I would see it. I would definitely would see it. I attended 3 shows on the tour, so I would love to actually see an official release from this tour so I could see it. Yes, I would say yes to that. I know some people are gonna be like, "What the fuck, Greg?" But whatever. It doesn't hurt me. And I like to see people have fun on stage, and I like to see people enjoy music and stuff. It's just me. 5th question. Would you like to see Queen plus Adam Lambert perform at the Super Bowl next year? Haven't given it much thought, really, but wouldn't hurt. I'll go with yes. 6. Have you seen the Queen tribute band, Gary Mullen in the Works? Yes, I did. I saw him once in 2012. It was March. I'm trying to remember the date. It was March 20-something. I'll have to check the tour dates, but it was definitely at the end of March 2012. I did see him live. Awesome show. Gary had a sickness or a throat infection or something, but he still sounded, strong for the most part, and was doing a lot of creative phrasing and did a lot of Works tour phrasing and Magic tour phrasing that I remember, but he still sounded very strong overall, and it was a very fun show. I liked it, and I got to see him after the show. He was signing autographs. He had his dressing gown on, and he was a very cool guy, very easy to talk to. He has a charm about him that is really cool, and I like talking with him. He's a very cool guy. And hello, Boo Boo. Way to interrupt this one now. Hi, kitty. Look at this. The amazing Boo Boo again wants to interrupt another vlog. You want to be on camera? Look at this. Look at this kitty. Look at him. Do you like Gary Mullen? Do you like Gary Mullen? You like Gary Mullen in the Works? I do. Stupid cat. Aw. Well, you did enough damage from one video. So yes, I have seen Gary Mullen in the Works. And I think Boo Boo Kitty wants to come back and ruin it again, but I think he's seen him too, or wants to see him. Okay. If you don't want to get out of the video, we'll keep you right there. Motherfucker. The next question comes from an awesome acquaintance of mine named Elton Bootlegs. Sorry. Fuck me. He also goes by the alias of Adam, though. His first question is, do you like 58 seconds? No, I do not like 58 seconds. Neither does Boo Boo Kitty. I don't like 58 seconds. I have never liked 58 seconds. And I think that number needs to go die, especially with all these gigs I've been listening to. I hate 58 seconds. Second question. Is 9784 the greatest Queen gig of all time? Oh, hell yeah, it's my favorite Queen gig, or the greatest Queen gig of all time. Just the raw power that Freddie emulates from, him nailing those notes on the It's a Hard Song, performance, and, another one, Bites the Balls, and all those songs. It's awesome, and the quality just makes it even better. And yes, it is definitely a candidate for one of the greatest gigs of all time by the band. And then the third question he says is your favorite vowel sound the I sound, the short A going into the long I? Oh, I love that sound. It makes such a nice growling effect on long sustained notes. Freddie and Elton John. Oh, listening to all this, and Phil fucking Collins, you're showing me all that crap on Facebook with Invisible Touch and all this random shit from random shows. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for that. I highly appreciate it. Yes, it's one of my favorites. Well, since Boo Boo Kitty doesn't want to leave, he's going to stay right here. I don't care. Let's see. Next question is from EC. Get out of my face! Next question is from EC Productions, who is Ethan, who just loves to talk to me a lot, which is cool. I got cat hair in my mouth. Okay, he asks, did Queen play Killer Queen live in full at all, or just medley versions? No, they never played the full version live, like the record. It was always medley. And then he asks, what's my favorite color? Black is my favorite color, as you can see by my fedora hat and my leather jacket. But if black ain't counted as a color, because people call them shades or something, blue is right after that. So it's either black or blue. Which song from each album would you have liked to have heard live that wasn't played live? That's a good one. That's a good one. For the first album, I think Jesus would sound cool. For the for Queen 2, I would have loved for them to play, the full March of the Black Queen live. I don't know how that would actually turn out live, but we got all these medley versions of the songs, and I was thinking that if we had a full version of the song, that'd be pretty cool to listen to, because in modern times, people can play that on stage now, but it'd be cool to hear that back in the day. But in case of anything, excuse me for a second, my battery's about to die on this. I forgot to put the charger in. Sorry about that, but there's still enough juice in there for me to get to the battery. Sorry about that, but we'll keep it in the we'll keep this in the video, because I love raw takes on everything. My hat's probably in the photo, and Boo Boo Kitty probably is still there. There we go. Had to step over the cable there, so I wouldn't trip and kill myself. Yeah, and he's in the camera. Just to tell you, this is all going to be uploaded raw, because everyone loves Boo Boo Kitty. So get off. Seriously. Where was I? Oh yeah. Back to the question here. So yeah, a full March of the Black Queen would be cool, but if that doesn't count, I think that Nevermore would sound cool live. I know they did that BBC version, but a legitimate live version played in the concert environment would sound really cool live. And then for Sheer Heart Attack, I would go with Dear Friends. I would go with Dear Friends. Night at the Opera, an album that most of the songs have been played live off of, so the only songs would be Good Company or Seaside Rendezvous. I don't know what to pick between those two, to be honest, but I would go with Good Company. Something tells me Good Company would be the song to pick. For A Day at the Races, I would go with You and I. And then for News of the World, I would go with Who Needs You. Jazz would be Dead on Time. For The Game, I would either Coming Soon or Sail Away Sweet Sister. For Hot Space, Dancer. For The Works, I I would probably go with a wild card on that, and I would like to actually have seen that song "Keep Passing the Open Windows" because thinking about it, it'd be a it'd be pretty cool rocking live actually, because Queen were known to rock up in the live setting, so that'd be cool to hear live. Man on the Prowl would work live, but if you already have Crazy Little Thing Called Love in the set, it wouldn't make sense really, because it sounds very derivative of it. Machines was played on the intro, in the intro there. So I would go with Keep Passing Open Windows, and then for kind of magic, I would love to see actually Give Me the Prize played live. I know it's super demanding, but they can make it work. And the second choice for that would be Princes of the Universe. Again, they'll probably have to make live modifications, but I think it would be cool to listen to those live. And let's see, that. So I got 3, and then Rudolph asks this: what's the best Bohemian Rhapsody performance from the Works tour? Well, the best performance from the Works tour is not London '84. Sorry, Elton Bootlegs. It's not 9/7. As much as that version rocks, it's not that. The best one overall, I would have to say the first Japan show from '85, and the reason behind that is there are some really good '84 versions, but they don't sound completely either clean or complete. Like, for example, when Boo Boo Kitty gets into my camera again, sometimes there'd be a bum piano note or some like rough vocal moment or something, or the red special goes off, but overall, the first Japan show from '85 is probably the most solid, best version, because there's no mistakes musically. The vocal is strong overall, and it's one of the best on the tour. It probably is the best version overall, so I would go with that. And then the second question, where Boo Boo Kitty has to sit on my questions. So give that to me. Give that to me. Second question that Rudolph asks is: would you rather have In My Defense or Born to Rock and Roll in pro quality from Freddie's last live performance in '88? Oh, In My Defense for sure. I think it's cool that Freddie outsang Cliff Richard on his own take of a song. But In My Defense is Freddie's baby, and to hear him nail that song in that bad quality that we have is awesome. And to have it in pro quality would be absolutely amazing. So I would go with In My Defense. Then he asked this question: what do you like better, the Magic Tour Leiden shows or the first Brussels show from the Works tour? That's very difficult, to be honest, because you're talking about one of the best shows on one tour versus 3 of the best shows on another tour. Set list wise, I'll go with the Works tour. Performance wise, is kind of close, although I do think second Leiden and the third Leiden are the strongest ones. Vocally, it's close, although I would probably give the edge to the Magic Tour. So I would probably, what I like better, I would give the edge to second and third. I would give the edge to the Magic Tour on this one, although I do like that Brussels show very much. So I would give the edge to the Magic Tour Leidens, although I do like the Brussels one a lot. Okay, thanks, Rudolph. Okay, question from a very familiar name. The name I got here is Dimitri/TSS Killer. And Lord Almighty, he asked the ultimate Queen question. April 1979, versus September 1984. Dimitri, why did you have to ask me that? How could you have known that I can't take this anymore? When you come to Breakthrough this year, we're going to have a little man-to-man talk about Japan 79 versus September 1984. How could I even approach this question? Musically, I like the April shows much better because there's no fucking stupid electronic drums, you know, irritating the hell out of me. And the guitar playing is better. And I like Brian's solos much better on that tour compared to September 84. Vocally, they both suck in different ways. I think vocally, the April 79 is way worse, especially certain gigs. Although the September stuff has some really bad stuff too. Now, whether it's phrased like that, I don't know how it's phrased. What do I like better? I don't like any of them. And what do I think is worse? They both suck. They just suck at different levels. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. If I wanted to hear comedy, I'd listen to the Works tour with the smacking of the electronic drums and the squealing of the magical mustached Freddie hitting those G5s randomly and cracking up to the 5th octave. I love that. I so get off on that. I love it. But on April 79, you have the giving out and the weird phrasing and the baritonal random swooping down into the 3rd octave. Oh, really? You are telling me to compare these two? How could you do such a thing to me? In fact, what do you prefer? What do you listen to? What do you hate more? You've never answered that question that I asked you, and you give that to me? Screw you. I had to throw a boo-boo kitty right in your face the next time that you show up here. How could you do such a thing to me? I'm a very fragile person here. My finger is being held together by this ring here. My brain is barely able to stay in my head. I have to wear the fedora hat to cover it up. My eyesight, I have to wear 2 additional eyes here because my eyesight sucks. I'm falling apart here. And you have to ask me that question. God. Thank you, though. Now, next person. By the name of, I hope I'm pronouncing this whole thing right, Quinn Ferguson asks a couple questions. First he asks, what is your favorite version of Mustafa on the game tour? And then he asks, what version of Another One Bites the Dust is better, Montreal 81, the first night, or Vienna 82, second night? Okay. Good questions. From the game tour, Mustafa's Oakland 1980 is awesome. I love that version. And also Milwaukee's is fantastic. I would probably say overall, my favorite one I listened to is the Oakland version, because that was the first one I heard, and Freddie absolutely nails the shit out of the song. It sounds amazing. Love it. And as far as Another One Bites the Dust question is concerned, first Montreal versus second Vienna. Oh, that's a tough one. If it was flip-flopped around and had first Vienna in there, I would say that would be the winner, regardless. But for the second night, it's a little bit more close. They're both pretty close. I would probably give the edge to second Vienna, though, overall, on this one. Although they're both top-notch. It's like this. It's close. So I'll go with Vienna on that one. And Oakland for the Mustafa. Thank you for the questions. Now, third page. From Mr. Lewis from Portugal, who also goes by the name of 1651997, and asked me so many questions that I've lost count. But thankfully, he put numbers. So here we go. First, he asked me Stockholm 78 or Copenhagen 78. Overall, I love them both. I love Sweden. I love Denmark. They're both awesome. I love those countries. I'd love to visit them. I don't know Swedish and I don't know Danish, but you know, whatever. But I love those two gigs overall. I'd have to side with Copenhagen on this one. I think I just pronounced it weird. I don't know. I don't know what's right, if it's Hagen or Hagen, but whatever. Simon can probably correct me. But that is probably the better of the two gigs. A little bit more tight overall. Really, really strong performances overall on that show. Like the Spread Your Wings is phenomenal. Now I'm Here is amazing. Love My Life is great. Love that show. I would go with Copenhagen or Hagen or however the fuck it's pronounced. Then Lewis asked me first or second line from the Magic Tour in terms of atmosphere and overall performance. Have to go with the second night on that one. Atmosphere is just as good. Overall performance is tighter. It's more tight. I would go with second line. Again, another one of these questions? Are you freaking sick in the head? He asked me, if you had to choose between all of the April 1979 shows, which would you pick? Can we please stop talking about Japan 79 in front of me? It's making me sick. Blah! If I had to pick one, I don't know how that's phrased, but if he's asking me what my favorite or the one that's the most tolerable, well, it's a shame first Sapporo is heavily cut and like that, because that would have been a candidate. But I would probably pick the Osaka shows, like the first one, because at least on those, Freddie sounds okay to an extent, and the band is fucking awesome. So that's the best mix I can think of. Osaka 79 is the one I can tolerate the most. Plus, the music is great. Quality's good, too. Question 4, thankfully, is a much more sensible question than that stupid last one. What is the best Queen live set list ever? It has to go to the News of the World Tour. You have songs from all of the albums being played. A nice, diverse set list. You have White Man with, the Vocal Improv and Prophet song. Ogre Battles in there. You got, White Queen on the London 78. It's Late's there. Spread Your Wings. Phenomenal. I love that News of the World set list. That is the best goddamn fucking set list out of all of the Queen shows. I love it. News of the World Tour. Question 5. Portland 11/11/77. Yes, I know. Thankfully, sadly, there's no recording, although I wish there was. Yes, I know what that is. It's the first show of the News of the World Tour, and it is rumored that Queen played Sleeping on the Sidewalk. Unfortunately, we can't be sure, because there's no recording of that particular show. In your opinion, how did it sound live with Freddie on vocals? How would I know? I never heard it. Do you think it had the potential to be a regular presence on the set list? Thing is, I hate answering stuff that I don't know. I do not know the answers here. I would not know how it would sound. I know how Brian sings it. I think it would sound good with him. I don't know how Freddie would do on the song. I think he'd do really good. I don't know how it would sound live with Freddie, to be honest. I wish there was a recording. But do I think it had the potential to be regular? I don't know, to be honest. I would lean more towards no, because there are better songs. There are better songs from that album that were played live and stayed in the live set for a while. I think it would be cool to hear live, but I don't think it would have been a stay in the set list for very long. I think they would have tried it out, see how it went on stage, how the crowd would, and I think it would have been phased out in favor of another song or something. So no, I don't think it had the potential to be to be in the set list for too long. Well, it would have been cool to hear. Thank you, Lewis, for all those questions. Man, I'm gonna blow my voice out if I keep losing it. Sorry. All right. Mr. Jordan slash Chin Wonder 2 asks this question. If you had the opportunity to attend 5 shows and record them between 1970 and 1986, but your recorder was broken and the tapes were C- quality, which would they be? Okay, so basically I got a fucked up tape recorder that will give me Glasgow 74 quality. Okay. Okay, in that in mind, I would love to have gone to the Detroit show on the Sheer Heart Attack tour. I would love to see some Crazy Tour shows. I would go Detroit 75, the Crazy Tour show where they couldn't fit in the lighting rig, and they had to do the really informal Crazy Tour show. I would love to see him at the Joe Louis Arena on the Game Tour, because they couldn't play Love of My Life because the crowd was so rowdy. That's Michiganders for you. We're a rowdy bunch. And for another show I would have loved to attend if I had a fucked up recorder with a with bad quality. For some reason, I have this weird idea of going to the second Hoffman Estates show in '82 because it was allegedly played Liar there, and I would love to hear that. And the first night is a very good show, so that'd be cool to hear that. And then let's see here. The last show I would attend would probably be Dublin '84, the second night, and I'll be the dude that would fill that missing gap in on the recordings, because that's the only one we don't have from '84. Everything else has a recording, as far as I know. So I would love to attend that one, and the early shows are very good, so that'd be cool. So there's my 5 shows, a nice little mix there. And let's see here. Thank you. And then this user name Champipple D, I believe is the user. Asks a question that is a little bit of a deviation from normal. A little bit Ask me this. What is your take on collectors who don't share? Say if you had a show that nobody else had ever heard before, would you hold on to it to trade with someone else who also has an extremely rare show, or would you upload it? Well, my friend, first of all, I don't like to call out people about trades and stuff. It's not my style. My take on anything related to that would be, if it's not going to be shared, just don't talk about it, because you're just opening up a can of worms. But that's my take on it. I mean, I don't care personally what you do with your stuff, but just don't dangle the carrot. That gets under my skin. But now the second part is about the show and the trades. In my experience with doing trades, because I have done some work with Elton John, but what I would do is, it would be actually a mix of what you just said. If there's stuff out there, what I would do is I would get in contact with people that all have a common goal of bringing all the recordings out for the public to listen to. And what I would do is I would get something and I would give it to them to see if they can find something else. And then we would trade there. And then we would go off, so it would be like a spider web. Then when our goal is done on finding, another show or two, then all of them will be shared at once. So it's like a mix. I'm definitely all for public sharing, and yes, I would upload my stuff, but I just want to see if we can get more, because I got a friend out there who's giving me some great advice on trades and stuff, and you know who you are. He's like, don't use your free pass too early, or don't use it up too early. Just play the waiting game a little bit, expand on it, and I'd go with that. It'd be a mix. We would hang on. I would hang on to something at least until I get something, and then I would release it. And when the goal is met, then everybody wins, and no relationships are broken. No stupid, fights are going on. Everybody wins. So that's my take. And then Metalhead123, who was just Three Nerds on the last one, but he now changed his name. And actually makes more sense, and it's more easy for me to remember. So thanks. He asked me, what is Freddie's all-time worst Queen gig, and what is his all-time best? Well, another fucking Japan thing. Oh, I'm gonna go crazy. All-time worst gig for Freddie is the Fukuoka show from 5/1, closely followed by the Fukuoka show from 4/30 of 79. Worst shows for his voice, bad tone, bad phrasing, cracking, squealing, monotone, especially on the second show, bad note choices, tone is shot, you name it, everything goes wrong with his voice. It's worse than some of the other stuff like Tokyo and stuff. What's his all-time best? Got quite a number of those. Nominees: the Newcastle shows from the Crazy Tour, both 12-3, 12-4, both phenomenal. And then Oakland 80 is definitely up there. Probably is one of the best post-Crazy Tour shows for Freddie. So those three are nominees. I would probably go with all three of them can compete. And then for the worst, Fukuoka 79. So there we go. There is the end of the second episode, and wowee, it is way over an hour. Wow. Thank you. It's like 10 minutes longer than the last episode. So thank you for all of these wonderful questions. And I will be so looking forward to the next batch of questions. And you know where to post them. And I want to thank Boo Boo Kitty for his unwanted cameo appearances. That was awesome. And thank you guys for the channel support and the comments and the ratings and the reviews and everything, because it keeps me going. And as long as you keep commenting and stuff, I'm going to just keep coming back for more. So thank you all, and see you next week for another episode of GregsynthVlog.